Beneath the surface of the ocean, where sunlight fades to nothing, lies a world few have ever seen. A world untouched by warmth, forgotten by time, hidden in a darkness so complete, it seems eternal. This is the Midnight Zone. At depths beyond 1,000 meters, light becomes a memory. The pressure is crushing, the cold is unrelenting, and life, if it exists at all, has evolved into forms both alien and astonishing. Here, eyes are useless. Many creatures born into this abyss have none. Instead, they rely on senses we can barely comprehend, the ability to feel vibrations, to detect chemical traces drifting through the water, to sense the faintest movement in the endless night. And yet, not all life in the Midnight Zone has surrendered to darkness. Some creatures have turned it to their advantage. They create their own light, mastering bioluminescence in a dance of survival. A flash to lure prey, a glow to confuse predators, a brief, shimmering pulse that speaks in a language older than humanity itself. Drifting through these black waters are beings so strange they seem almost mythical. Jellyfish that ignite like living fireworks, shrimp that shoot bursts of glowing chemicals, fish with translucent flesh and hollow, ghost-like forms that vanish into the darkness with a single flick of a fin. The Midnight Zone is not silent. It breathes, it shifts, it waits. Every moment here is a delicate balance between survival and oblivion. A misstep, a wrong movement, a ripple in the wrong direction, and the darkness claims another life. Explorers who have dared to descend into this world speak of a feeling, a sense of being watched, even when no eyes can be seen. Instruments sometimes record brief flashes, strange echoes, sudden shifts in water pressure where no known creature should exist. There are tales of forms that drift just beyond the range of lights, shapes that flicker and vanish, eyes that reflect a faint, haunting red before disappearing back into the black. In 2015, a deep-sea camera caught something unexpected, a flash of light that seemed to... The deep sea is a world built on darkness, a place so remote that sunlight has never touched it. In these vast black depths, life adapts in ways that seem impossible. Creatures have no use for vision, and many have lost their eyes completely. Yet, amidst this blindness, a strange anomaly began to emerge, glowing red eyes watching from the dark. After the mysterious flash was recorded in 2015, scientists returned to the same coordinates again and again. Each time, their cameras picked up faint signals, small blips of unexpected light moving against the abyss. It wasn't just bioluminescence. It was something deliberate, something watching. The research team speculated endlessly. Was it a trick of the light? Was it a known species behaving in a new way? Or was it something entirely undocumented? Despite deploying state-of-the-art ROVs, remotely operated vehicles equipped with low-light cameras, they could never capture the source directly. Only glimpses. Only whispers in the water. Meanwhile, the local divers, those few brave enough to explore the deep cracks along the ocean floor, told a different story. They spoke of a fish, pale and almost translucent, its body blending seamlessly into the water around it. But its eyes, its burning, crimson eyes, stood out like blood against the black sea. They said it followed them, curious yet cautious, blinking slowly from the shadows. They said it was ancient, a guardian of some forgotten realm. Rumors swirled among coastal villages. Some said it was the spirit of a drowned sailor reincarnated into the body of a fish. Others believed it was a warning, an omen from the deep, predicting storms and disasters. No one could agree on what it truly was, but everyone agreed on one thing. Once you saw the red eyes, you never forgot them. One diver, a veteran named Elias Marrow, claimed to have seen it up close. In a recorded interview, one filled with long silences and trembling hands, he described the encounter. It wasn't just a fish. It, it knew I was there. It circled me. It studied me. Its eyes weren't just glowing, they were thinking. Marrow's footage, unfortunately, offered little proof. His camera caught only distorted flashes, brief smears of red and a sea of black. Still, his fear was real, and his story was just one of dozens. Scientists tried to rationalize these reports. Perhaps a newly discovered species of deep-sea predator had evolved bioluminescent eyes to hunt better. Or maybe an ancient species, once believed extinct, had survived in the folds of the ocean's forgotten trenches. But for the locals, no explanation was needed. To them, it was simply the ghost fish, a creature older than memory, watching, waiting, guarding something that must never be disturbed. In the months that followed, the sightings grew more frequent, and then suddenly they stopped, as if something or someone had warned it that it had been seen. The ocean swallowed its secrets again, leaving only the lingering question: what else is watching from the deep? Respond, not random, not natural, but deliberate. Biologists called it unknown bioluminescence. Locals whispered a different name, the ghost fish. No one has captured it. No one has studied it. But divers, those brave enough to swim into the depths, tell stories in hushed voices. They say it watches from the shadows, that it moves when you move, that it blinks when you blink. In a world where light is life and darkness is death, the existence of such a creature raises unsettling questions. Is it predator or prey? Is it guardian or ghost? In the endless night of the midnight zone, where every flicker of light could mean salvation or doom, one thing is certain: we are not alone. Something watches, something waits, and deep beneath the surface, beyond the reach of human eyes, it dreams in darkness. The ocean is not silent. It hums, it groans, it sings songs older than any human memory. In the midnight zone, where pressure could crush a submarine like a soda can, strange sounds occasionally ripple through the abyss. For years, these sounds went unnoticed until the ghost fish made its presence known. Shortly after the red-eyed sightings faded, hydrophones placed along the continental shelf began picking up odd frequencies. Low, pulsing rhythms that seemed almost intentional, not random, not geological. Something alive, something calling. Marine biologists rushed to collect the data. Initial theories suggested whales, perhaps an unknown subspecies using deeper routes. But these sounds were unlike any known marine mammal. They were lower, almost mechanical, and they carried an eerie resonance that sent chills through the scientists analyzing them. At first, the recordings were dismissed. Equipment errors, perhaps. The deep sea is a brutal place for machines. But as the weeks went on, the sounds grew louder, clearer. And then, one night, a camera picked up something no one could explain. A flicker of red light synchronized with the pulsing sound. It was not a random event. It was communication. Locals, already steeped in tales of the ghost fish, believed it was sending a warning. They spoke of ancient stories, of the deep places not meant to be disturbed, of beings older than the continents themselves, guardians hidden beneath crushing waters. Elders warned fishermen not to cast their nets too deep, lest they pull up something not meant to see the surface. But modern scientists could not be so easily deterred. A new expedition was organized, one that would dive deeper than any before, armed with reinforced vessels and new sonar technology. Their goal: to trace the sound to its source. Weeks of searching yielded little. The ocean mocked them with silence, with vast empty plains and sudden cliffs that fell away into endless blackness. But one night, while drifting near a particularly deep trench, their sonar caught something. Moving. Something massive. It did not match any known creature profile. It was too large, too slow, too deliberate. As the crew peered into the murky feed, a familiar flash of red blinked once, and then vanished. In the debriefings, the crew described an overwhelming sense of being watched, not by an animal, but by something calculating, something intelligent. The deeper they pushed into the trench, the stronger that sensation grew, until the team made a unanimous decision. They would retreat. Officially, the report cited equipment malfunction and unsafe conditions as the reasons for abandoning the mission. Unofficially, every member of that team refused to ever return to those waters. The ghost fish, if it was truly just a fish, had sent its message. The ocean holds secrets not meant for human discovery. And some things, when seen, gaze back into you with an ancient, unknowable intelligence. As the ship sailed back to shore, the waters behind them rippled once, as if something enormous stirred beneath the surface. And then, the ocean fell silent once more. After the expedition's sudden retreat, the ocean returned to its heavy silence. But for the scientists left onshore, the mystery had only deepened. The recordings taken during the last dive revealed something extraordinary. The pulses weren't random. They formed a pattern, a sequence. Sound engineers and cryptologists were called in. Days turned into weeks as they analyzed the eerie, rhythmic beats. At first, the pattern seemed meaningless, strange intervals and frequencies without logic. But then, someone noticed. When mapped onto a time graph, the pulses resembled ancient glyphs, shapes strikingly similar to carvings found in coastal caves dating back thousands of years. The realization sent shivers through the research team. Had the ghostfish, or whatever lurked below, been communicating not just recently, but for millennia? The news leaked into the local towns, fueling a surge of legends. People whispered about the old sleepers, ancient beings trapped beneath the waves, whose dreams reached into the world of the living through light and sound. They said that when the world grew too curious, when mankind dug too deep, the sleepers would stir, and the red eyes would return. Some divers, driven by obsession, tried to find the ghostfish on their own. Few returned. Those who did came back changed, silent, haunted, refusing to speak of what they had seen in the deep. Their cameras and equipment were often damaged, as if exposed to massive pressure well beyond their recorded depths. Meanwhile, the scientists pressed forward. A deep-sea probe, smaller and faster than the previous vessels, was designed for a one-way mission, to descend into the trench and broadcast live images. As it crossed deeper into the abyss, the signal grew weaker, but the pulses grew stronger. The frequency began to spike, matching the probe's movement, almost guiding it. And then, the feed flickered. Through the distortion, they saw it. Not a single fish, not a creature, but an entire colony of bioluminescent beings, shifting in synchronized patterns, forming shapes, symbols, messages. In the center, something larger loomed. A figure, motionless, vast beyond comprehension. Its eyes, two burning orbs of ancient, slow intelligence, blinked once. The feed cut. In the command center, silence fell like a weight. No one moved. No one spoke. It wasn't just a discovery. It was a warning. The ghostfish wasn't alone. It was a sentinel, a harbinger, and whatever it protected was awakening. Wordlessly, the team began dismantling the project. Files were erased. Equipment was destroyed. not from fear of the ocean's rage, but from the certainty that some truths were never meant to surface. That night, far off the coast, fishermen reported strange tremors in the water, and faintly, beneath the crashing of the waves, some swore they heard it. A slow, pulsing song, a call from something ancient and patient, waiting for the next foolish soul to listen. Weeks passed. On the surface, life seemed normal again. The research station was abandoned. The ship stayed closer to shore. The fishermen returned to shallow waters, their nets lighter, but their minds at peace. But the ocean never forgets. Late one evening, just as the sun slipped beyond the horizon, a tremor shook the coastline. Small at first, almost gentle, as if something vast had shifted in its sleep. Then came the tide. Not a roaring tsunami, but a silent surge that crept far beyond the normal reach, soaking fields and forests before retreating like a hand withdrawing into the deep. Along the beaches, strange things washed ashore. Not fish, not seaweed, but fragments, translucent tendrils, like pieces of something organic yet alien. Scientists, daring to investigate, found cellular structures unlike anything cataloged before. Structures that seemed to change when exposed to air, collapsing into dust within hours. The locals stayed indoors that night. The sky itself felt heavier, and deep beneath the waves, something had begun to move. Old hydrophones, long abandoned, captured snippets of sound, a deep resonance that made the sand itself vibrate. It wasn't communication anymore. It was motion, purpose. And then, as quickly as it began, it stopped. But the ocean had changed. New lights flickered below the surface on moonless nights, moving in patterns far too organized to be mere schools of fish. In rare moments, red eyes blinked up from the depths, only to vanish when spotted. Divers who dared to explore now reported entire zones devoid of life. No fish, no coral, only the soft, endless hum, vibrating through the water like the heartbeat of some hidden colossus. Scientists theorized quietly among themselves. What if the trench had not simply hidden creatures? What if it was a prison? What if the ghost fish wasn't a mere sentinel, but a jailer, guarding something ancient, something bound by light and pressure and silence? And what if that jail was breaking? Fearing the worst, an international coalition discreetly placed sonar buoys along the trench, hoping to monitor the movements below. For months, they recorded nothing unusual. Until one night. At exactly midnight, every buoy in a 100-mile radius went dead. No signal. No warning. Just silence. And as the first desperate teams scrambled to investigate, satellites captured a final image. A faint, glowing pattern rising from the heart of the ocean. A spiral of red lights, growing wider, reaching upward. Towards the surface. Towards us. The ghost fish had done its duty for centuries. But now, its watch was ending. And whatever lay beneath was coming. From the dark. From the forgotten. From the ancient silence beyond the reach of time. It had waited. It had watched. And now, it would rise. The ocean, once thought to be humanity's final frontier, would become its oldest battleground. And above the waves, under trembling stars, mankind would soon remember. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed.